What's up, nerds? Harbinger here, bringing you today's special. Today we're going to talk about something called iteration, and as much as I know you love recursion, we're going to do repetition in a different way. So we're going to do something over and over and over and over and over and over without trying to break you the way that recursion would try to break you. So before we start, here's your daily meme. You can't go wrong with the dank scale, right? The dankest objects in the universe. This is a sweet photo editing job. My thanks to whomever made this. I don't know if I should curse you or thank you, but cool, I guess, either way. Sorry, Gia. I was called out for trying to impress the hip youngsters, and I should stop trying to be cool. I'm not trying. I am cool. And they're just impressed anyways, like a byproduct. So, what are you going to do? We are going to do loops today. So I know some of you have seen this before, either exploring on Stack Overflow or seeing other things. But anyway, I know some people want a cool way to make something happen over and over and over and over again in the computer without necessarily having a method call itself. So anyway, we're going to do while loops because they're the nice kind of basic one. When you look at them, they just make sense. So it's a control structure that lets the program execute a block of code as long as a condition is true. So it might do it again and again and again and again and again. So something like int, I don't know, num equals 1, and while num is less than 100, let's see, system dot out dot println num. That. Now this is an infinite loop. That's a problem because num starts off at 1, and while it's less than 100, print it off. So is 1 less than 100? Yes. So it prints out 1. And then is 1 less than 100? Yes. So it prints out 1. And is 1 less than 100? Yes. And it does it over and over and over again. So you got to be careful of that one. We have to make an adjustment inside the loop. So you've got to say something like that. And then it would say 1. Then it would jump to 2. Is 2 less than 100? Yes, it prints out 2. It jumps to 3. Is 3 less than 100? Yes, it prints out 3. So it prints out from 1 all the way up to a sentinel value. A sentinel value is the stopping point. The question is, what's the last number does it print? Does it print off 99, 100, 101? You should find out. So I'm going to copy my code. I'm going to stick it in a compiler I found online. And see, it turns purple. That's nice. And we're going to find out what happens. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and it goes all the way up, and the last one it prints off is 99. Because num is 98. Is 98 less than 100? Yes. Prints off 98, jumps to 99. Is 99 less than 100? It is. It prints off 99, it jumps to 100. Is 100 less than 100? No. So then it jumps down here and does whatever code is underneath the while loop. There's nothing there, so it doesn't do anything, but whatever. If you wanted, we could say like system.out.println num, and it would show you that it's 100. If we really wanted the first 100 natural numbers, we could have put an equal sign there. Like that works too. That's cool. But anyway, I like them a lot because you can use them for other kinds of repetition. So we can make a factorial program, right? Like int, I'm going to call it prod. I need some kind of variable to hold the product temporarily. And maybe, just maybe, I need like another variable to keep track of where I am in the process. So if I want 7 factorialed, I want to know that I'm at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, or 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. There's a lot of ways to get that right. I got to keep track of it. So again, I'm going to call it num. It doesn't have to be that, whatever. So some value, and again, it could be 7, it could be 12, it could be 52. At some point it gives you like an overflow, but what are you going to do? And I'm going to write a while loop, and this is programmer's choice. This is, do you want to count down to 1? Because normally when teachers teach factorial, they say, oh, 5 factorial is 5 times 4 times 3 times 2 times 1. Or do you want to count from 1 up to it? Right? Like it doesn't matter. It's okay. So 5 factorial is also 1 times 2 times 3 times 4 times 5. And beginning programmers who are new to while loops have a tendency to count up. But hey, I'm going to count down because I'm cool like that. num while it's greater than equal to 1. So that's going to count down from wherever I am down to my stopping point. And again, a stopping point is called a sentinel. But let's see, prod times equal num. And so if num is like 12, well, I'm going to multiply 12 into prod. And I better drop 12 down to 11, right? Otherwise, it's going to be an infinite loop. And that's not okay. So num minus minus takes it down to 11. And the next time through is 11 greater than or equal to 1? Yeah, it is. So 11 gets multiplied into prod. So prod is 12 times 11. Jumps down to 10. We can keep going like that. And if you want, we can put an SOP in there, but we don't have to. You know, you can system.out.println the current value of num. We could system.out.println the current value of prod. You know, we can do all those things, but it's not really necessary. Because at the end, system.out.println, we could say the value of prod. Now what I was going to do was I was going to have text here saying like the value of something factorial, which was num factorial is prod. The problem with that though, num dropped all the way down to 0 and then it stopped. So it would say if I ran this, the value of 0 factorial is whatever the product is. So if I really want to maintain that original number, I have to have a third variable in here to remember what it was. You know, like I can't just bank on it remembering two things at once, its current state and the original. So I'm going to leave that in just to make me smile. But, let's see. One of those, some value. I should probably give that a value. So let's say 5, right? I keep using 5 as an example. And the value of 0 factorial is 120. So, funny. And again, I could have an original one in here like int strat value start val equals heck, we can move them around. We could do that. And I should probably switch this to start value. The value of 5 factorial is 120. And we could so same deal. Hey, start value remembers what num was, and then num counts down. This isn't like twinning two cats or something like that, where what happens to one happens to the other. Primitives work a little bit differently. But that's that one. So something fun. We can do it with objects too. So perfectly fun. Let's see. While loops with objects. So maybe I have like a pirate or something like that. And I'm going to call him pirate P equals new pirate. And let's see. His name is like Flying Dutchman. And maybe he has like 1,000 gold or something. You know, works for me. And what I want him to do is say, I'm counting me gold. I've got 1 gold piece. And then maybe a second later he says, I'm counting me gold. I've got 2 gold pieces. And he's like literally counting the pile until he gets to 1,000. And then he's done. So I'm going to do that one. I'm going to say while p.getGold is, let's say, greater than 0. I'm going to have him count down because that seems a little bit easier here with the pirate. And I should probably keep track of where we are, right? Or maybe he's going to add it to the pile. That's cool. So like int gold pile equals 0. So I want pirate P to talk about his gold. So I'm going to system.out.println arg I have p.getGold one of those. So he's talking about how much gold he has, and we got to drop the gold amount because otherwise it's going to be an infinite loop, and that's not okay. So p dot, I don't know, lose loot. Maybe that just decrements loot or something like that. takes 1 away from gold. And why not? I'm going to have this integer that represents how much gold is in the pile. And one of those. Almost. That's better. So now if I were to run it, and I can't run it in the online compiler because I don't have a pirate class made, and it would have to compile all that. I don't want to run a class right now. But what would happen is, hey, pirate's got some gold, right? And arg, I have 1,000 gold. He's going to lose 1. He's going to have 999 gold, and this is going to gain 1. So p.getGold plus gold pile is always going to equal 1,000. Now the funny thing is, what if I had a default constructor or something like that where he didn't have any gold? So maybe, oh my gosh, P's name is Patchy. That's my default pirate name. If I could type, that'd be better. Patchy, and P has 0 gold. The question is, do I get an error when this runs? Do I not run? Does it run forever? What's the issue? And P has 0 gold, so is 0 greater than 0? No, it never enters the loop, but it's okay. It's just going to keep running code that's below the while loop. That's actually pretty awesome. So just be advised that if this condition isn't met, that's okay. It's still going to run just fine. It's going to run whatever's underneath it. You don't need a semicolon there. You don't need a semicolon there. People love putting them there. Don't. Because, again, a semicolon ends a thought. And this one's like the middle of a thought, right? While your gold is greater than 0, and then it does stuff. So just be careful, please. You can use objects, and that's perfectly fine. Just make sure you're comparing them the right way. The other thing you could do is you could have other conditions in here. I don't even know, but you know, p dot something 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 has scurvy. I don't know, maybe his initial scurvy value is false or something like that, and then maybe something happens inside the while loop that gives him scurvy. Maybe he's got a 2% chance every time he gives up gold to get scurvy. I don't know. Honestly, I've never written scurvy code before, so it's the first time for everything. The first error I want to point out, because there's a couple things you need to be aware of. Order matters, right? Back up to the factorial one. If I switch the order, that doesn't work like you think it does, right? Then it would say the value of 5 factorial is 20, right? That's not okay. It would be something like, you know, I'd have 5 up here. 5 is greater than or equal to 1. It drops down to 4, and it multiplies 4 into prod. It never multiplies that 5. And then we get down to the end, and it's like num is 1. Is 1 greater than or equal to 1? Yes. Num drops to 0. 0 gets multiplied into prod. So prod would actually be 0. So be careful. Order matters when you are writing loop contents. And often on the AP exam, you see that. Like, hey, which of the following produces 0 as an outcome? Or which of the following is a correct way to find the factorial of a number? This is important. Be careful, please. All right? And I know some people would monkey with it. They would move stuff around. Not as easily in Notepad, I guess. And then in the end, they would like add 1 to num or something and multiply by initial value. Look, you don't need to do weird formulas. Just be careful about order. And it's okay to put system.out.println inside the loop to keep track of what you're doing. And at the end, you can remove them if it makes it easier. So, a couple other things you should know. Infinite loops. Sometimes there are horrible people in the world who write code like this. I once asked a class, hey, can you write me a loop that's infinite, that will never end? And so they said something like system.out.println, you know, greetings, fellow math lovers. So that's okay. And it will just print off greetings, fellow math lovers, over and over and over and over. Because it's like saying, hey, while true is true, well, true is always true. So that's kind of like a goofy statement. The other one I've seen before, while 1 + 1 = 2, kind of funny. This is slightly better in my opinion because then it's independent of base. But whatever, while 1 plus 1 equals 1, that's also an infinite loop. Let's see, while you're not false, again, these are all goofy, but the while true loop is the easiest. It makes something happen repeatedly forever, and you never have to worry about the contents. So 7 hours later, it is still saying, greetings fellow math lovers, greetings fellow math lovers, greetings fellow math lovers. So just be advised, infinite loops are possible, and sometimes they're useful, sometimes they're not. Like when I code the Java robots, we have a while loop in there, while true, because, hey, I want the robot to always be doing something until it's turned off. So this is one way to do that. And sometimes you do an infinite loop inadvertently, like you don't mean to do an infinite loop, and it happens. Up at the very top, if I didn't have this in there, it would just print off the number 1 over and over and over and over and over. So it's a logic error because the computer thinks everything is good, but you planned it out wrong. So just understand that you can do that. Sometimes you want it to happen, sometimes you don't. Sometimes you want a while loop to run once no matter what. So something like int val equals, and I'll give it a value in a second, but for now, hey Java, go do this. Maybe val is like -2 or something like that. Go do this while val is greater than 0. I actually do get a semicolon there. Remember, a semicolon ends the thought. Hey, do this while val is positive. So it's okay to put a semicolon there. That's what will make it work. And a lot of people forget there's a semicolon at the end of a do while loop, but the end of a while loop lacks a semicolon. One of those things. So anyway, I could say something like SOP val or whatever, and then maybe I want to add 3 to val or something like that. So it's still going to run infinitely, but while val is greater than 0 and val is less than 100 or something. So that works. If it was reversed and it was a regular while loop, it wouldn't run at all, right? If it just said while val is greater than 0 and val is less than 100 and val starts off at -2, it would never run the loop. But a do while loop does work. That's okay. Hey, do this once no matter what and then check. Right? So you're executing the code inside and then you're checking the condition. Sometimes you want that. Sometimes you want a regular while loop. It's okay no matter what. Other thing, be careful. Some people kind of goofily, yes, it's an adverb, redeclare inside. So they say something like this. Unfortunately, it's syntactically legal. This is okay to have in your program. Some people are going to say things like, hey, int prod is 1, and it's going to constantly multiply that number into prod over and over and over, and it multiplies it into this prod, not that one. Right? They're different scope. So this one is more of a local scope. It's inside a loop, and the second you're inside a method or inside a loop, that variable only lives in that spot. And since prod, this one, only lives from here to here, the second you step out of the loop, or the second you repeat the loop, it's like, oh, brand new prod every single time. I don't want a brand new prod every time. I want to reference that prod every single time. So be careful, please. Another rookie mistake, like I said, is either initializing the value over and over and over, like that, or declaring the value over and over and over, and it makes new integer variables all the time. Not okay. So, last heads up that I'm not covering right now, but it's one of those things. I leave you with a question. Can you put a loop inside of a... Can you? Can you have a while loop inside of another loop? And if you can, why would you? Can you make anything cool with it? Can you think of a program that might rely on what's called nested loops? Not saying you can put a loop inside of a loop, but it's definitely something to put on your radar. So, lab comes out on Monday/Tuesday of next week. Enjoy Thanksgiving break. Hope everything goes well. And Harbinger out!